What's up, everyone? BuffaloPrime here, bringing you more content that's just Reddit posts, and I'm reading them, and I'm making them into YouTube videos. Woo! Today, I'm going to be going through the very basic subreddit of r/AskReddit. Now, I've done Ask HR, Ask Men, but this one is just about Reddit and just people on Reddit. Anybody can answer these questions if they want to, and I'm pretty sure plenty of people do, but we're going to go and dive in again. So, very first question here is from Princess CC1, and it's already been removed from the moderators, so I feel like this is a great place to start. What does sex feel like for men? It's like, actually, it's like weird to think about because I feel like we asked the same question on the other side. Like, I have no idea what it feels like to get the... And I don't know. I mean, like, the best way I can explain it is it's just kind of like, it's warm. It's very warm. And like, so like, imagine if you, I don't know, when you like, say you get a cut on your finger, and you're like, I got a cut on my finger, and you put it in your mouth to like, you know, stop it from bleeding and from hurting a little bit. This is very awkward, but like, you know, imagine that, but on an orifice, and it feels really good. Oh God, why did I start on this question? All right, next question is posted by Durox. It says, what did the pandemic teach you about people? So it taught me a couple of things. If you've watched my other series, you know that I'm an HR professional, and it taught me that a lot of companies just for some reason don't want you to work remote because they think if they have you in a building, they can monitor you better and you're more productive, I guess. But it made me... And it taught me that a lot of jobs in society can very much be done remote. Like, we don't need to have these crazy office spaces that are incredibly expensive for a business when we can just have our employees work from home. And frankly, some employees even have equipment that they can use. It's like a big cost saving measure, and a lot of people seem to like it. So on the more negative side, I would say that the pandemic taught me that we're in a day and age where social media can give you validity in any opinion that you have, even if you're incredibly wrong. And I think that's probably the scariest thing. It might be the pandemic, but it could also be the previous, administration, where your opinion can be baked in nothing more than hatred and anger and misinformation. And you can find thousands of people that are just as stupid as you are to make you feel like you're right. So that's what the pandemic taught me, is like, as we moved into a more digital way of communicating for a little bit, it's just a lot of people found a lot of other people that are dangerously misinformed like they are, and it made the world kind of a scary place for a while. So the next post was also removed from the moderator, but it's from Nababoachi. Says, would you watch a show where a billionaire CEO has to go an entire month on their lowest paid employee's salary without access to any of their resources other than that of the employee? What do you think would happen? No, I probably wouldn't watch a show like that, mostly because a CEO who has billions of dollars being asked to live with less money probably wouldn't be very entertaining to watch. They would probably be like, oh, wow, I actually have to cook my own food, and I live in a home that I have to care for, and life goes on. Like, that wouldn't be very entertaining to me. So here's the next one. Sack916King13 asks, what is a clear sign that you're getting older? And the top answer is when you're creating an account for a website and you have to scroll forever until you get to your year of birth. That's a good answer. When it gives your like birth date and you have to scroll for a little bit and to get to your birth year. That's a good answer for sure. I'm going to be more optimistic about a clear sign of getting older. You start appreciating the small things a lot more. One of the things that happened over the weekend for me was that I went garage sailing with my wife and my 4-year-old. And it made me realize, like, when I was a kid, I hated garage sales because they were boring and they didn't have a lot of like items for me to play with. And like, if I was a teenager, it's like, well, I don't need any of this stuff. It's like used clothes and like whatever, right? But my mom always really enjoyed going. And I think one of the signs that you're getting older is that you start to appreciate smaller things, right? Like, I go to garage sales and I find like a vase that would probably look good above my fireplace. And I'm like, oh, this is pretty nice. And like, that moment of satisfaction can carry you for a little bit, right? It was like a $5 vase. It was a really good buy. It looks amazing over the fireplace. We literally bought it. I'm using an actual example. And I was like, this isn't too bad. Like, I feel like that's a sign of getting older, right? You start appreciating even the small things. Like, I sat outside in my backyard and just appreciated the fact that I have a backyard the other day, and I grabbed a beer and just sat there. And as a kid, I wouldn't have done that because that's boring. But as an adult, it felt pretty good. All right, this next question from Hera28. What is a quote you like? One of the quotes that I've like thought about most of my life and still resonates with me, it's actually a Switchfoot song because I was really big into Switchfoot growing up. And the song is called The Shadow Proves the Sunshine. And the entire song basically revolves around like, hey, you know, we're crooked souls trying to stay up straight. We're trying to stay dry in the pouring rain, but the shadows prove the sunshine. And it's a metaphor that basically says that the fact that there are dark times and bad times and hardships in our life proves that there's a sun, that there's a good time, that there's better times ahead. You can't have this feeling of dread without knowing the feeling of joy, and that all of it's cyclical, right? You'll go through moments of dread, but you also go through moments of joy. And every time that I'm in kind of like a down season, as they say, I think about that. I'm like, hey, you know what? The shadow that I'm currently in just proves that there's sunshine. And I just wait for the sunshine to come again. And I feel like I don't know. It's a nice little quote that I think of a lot. All right, this next question comes from I Love Boobies 333. Amen, brother. What is one thing you have to do in order to be successful in life? The top comments we can see, it's good to study at school and university, and then a lot of luck, and whatever it is that make you happy. So I want to talk about this question a little bit because I find that I'm a little bit successful in life, not in everything that I do, but I have found some things in life, and this is kind of my answer to this question, that make me happy, but also provide me success. So, I mean, success is very subjective. You can kind of apply it anywhere. You know, like I find success in like the small things. Like I cooked, for the first time ever, I cooked ziti, like pretty much from scratch. And I was like, that was pretty successful. That felt good. And it made me happy because I enjoy cooking, right? But in my life, I'm an HR professional. I've made it to the midpoint of my career. I make really good money, which I appreciate. And that's successful because I worked hard and I found something that I could be passionate about and turned it into a career. I'm a partnered Twitch streamer that streams, you know, for a decent audience. And that was a lot of luck, but it was also a lot of determination and doing things that made me happy. And defining success as, do I enjoy what I'm currently doing? And is it not detrimental to others, right? So I think that's like one of the things you need to do in order to be successful is to find something that you're happy doing and be okay with being unsuccessful in it until success comes, right? Like I wasn't great at HR when I first started and got better as I went along. I wasn't a great Twitch streamer. I'm trying now regular content on YouTube. I have not been successful on YouTube yet, except for some K-pop reaction videos. And, you know, but it's something I enjoy doing, and success will come as long as you enjoy what you do and strive to be better. This next question is a pretty deep one. Another Satanist 89 asks, how do you give your child or your children a better childhood than the one you experienced without spoiling them or living vicariously through them? Now, I'm a father of a 4-year-old, and to give you some context, I grew up in a household that was pretty broken. I didn't experience a lot of like trauma. I'm not gonna like to tout that my childhood was like really difficult. But my parents divorced pretty early in my life, and I felt like I was kind of a bystander to everything. So like, I don't think either one of my parents wanted to parent me past the age of 13. So I didn't learn a lot from them. They didn't hold me accountable to things. We were very, very poor. So didn't get a chance to do much. And I had to like basically provide for myself until I went to college and then learned kind of the hard way some of the things that my parents probably should have taught me. I don't like the idea of people saying like, you don't want to spoil your kids. Like there's a certain aspect that yes, you don't want to like encourage your kids to do bad things, but I don't know if spoiling is the right term. We think about that as like, don't give your kids everything, just enough so they don't die. Like, what does that mean? You know? So the way that I plan to give my child a better life is by simply engaging with them and showing them that I care and that I'm full of love, right? Like I have the benefit of giving my child a more lucrative life than I did when I was younger, but you know, that doesn't stop me from being like encouraging and investing in their life and being interested in who they are and respecting who they are. Like even at 4 years old, I show my son respect. Like he's a 4-year-old, right? He's going to have temper tantrums about weird shit, right? But I've always told him, like, even when he's upset, and I'm like, well, what's going on? He's like, I'm upset and I'm mad. And I'm like, well, yeah, you're yelling at your mom or something like that. And I'm like, okay, it's okay to feel upset. But, you know, let's take maybe a moment to calm down, right? Like, I still respect my son enough to understand his feelings and that they're legitimate, even though he's only 4. Like, I feel like just an ounce of dignity and treating your child as if they're human instead of just this offspring pet that I think some parents like to treat their kids, I think goes a long way. All right, that's going to be enough for me for today. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and if there's any other subreddits you think I should dive into. We might come back to this one again in future episodes, but obviously let me know, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff that adds engagement to the channel. That really helps out a lot, and I appreciate you watching up to this point in the video. My name is BuffaloPrime, and I'm out!